Hello, everybody. My name is Brad Shafton. I'm the Director of Innovation for Hologic, and I'm here today to talk to you about our RPA journey with Automation Anywhere and just RPA in general. So to start a little bit about myself, as I mentioned, I'm the Director of Innovation for Hologic. I've been with the company for about 15 years now and had various positions in digital innovation and transformation within the IT team. We started our RPA journey in June of 2019, so just under a year, but we've grown really quickly. So a little bit about Hologic and what led us to this change. For years, we had been a very stable company, not a lot of innovation, not a lot of flexibility, and just meeting the business's needs. But the things that we had going for us is we had really strong architecture and really strong engagement within our IT team. So we were looking for change, and we had a new CIO that came in and really was the catalyst in that change. And she had a lot of success in previous roles with RPA, so she made this one of her top priorities coming into Hologic. We tried to internally grow the idea of RPA and make it work alongside the solutions that we had to get more value out of them. And that's where RPA came into play. So we looked at a few different options here. I will say our CIO had previous experience with Automation Anywhere. It was really successful with it. So already Automation Anywhere had a leg up on the competition. But as we looked at the other tools that were out there, one thing that really stood out to us about Automation Anywhere is the ease of use for even the non-technical user. Starting out, we were developing just within IT for the business, but with people with a technical background. But we wanted to make sure that as we grew, we had a platform that would allow everybody to potentially be able to develop bots. And we felt that Automation Anywhere was really the best tool to be able to support a citizen developer network like that. So the next thing we did is really look at what the benefits of RPA would be within the company. We had to go out there and evangelize this new technology, unlike anything I had ever done at Hologic or really IT had done. And I think we all typically look for cost savings. I think that's a no-brainer when it comes to RPA. Can we save time? Can we save man hours? We also looked at accuracy. Certainly the bot can only do things the way it's programmed to do, and so there's no human errors. Efficiencies as well. Certainly, bots not being limited to 8 hours a day has been a huge benefit for us. A number of our manufacturing facilities operate 24 hours a day. So this has been a huge dollar savings and time savings to allow the bots to run all day long. So from there, we kind of jumped over a POC phase a little bit. We knew this was a path that we were taking, but we did want to get a few initial use cases under our belt, more so to show the rest of the company, here's what the benefit is, rather than proving out RPA as a concept itself. So we started with a few that you see here. Our customer data. I don't think any company can claim that their customer data is in tip-top condition. And I certainly won't claim that about ours, but we were able to use RPA to look for duplicates and execute on the changes that our CDQ team brought forth. Another one, and this was our first one actually that made it live, was revenue reclassification. So finished goods may be purchased from a supplier. We may sell them raw materials, and so the transactions go back and forth. With this bot, we're able to better recognize our cost of goods sold. And this is not only one of our first use cases, but one of our real best stories to tell still to this day. It took about 3 hours to do. Now, when we show people a video, it takes about 2 minutes for the whole process to run. And we always joke with them that we actually had to slow it down for them to even catch everything that happens. So we've saved them nearly 3 hours a week. But instead of running it weekly for 3 hours, now that bot runs every day. And our third initial use case was around the gross margin of our products. So our reps in a specific division have to fill out a spreadsheet that lists a bunch of information around the margin and the profit for the company. And then that makes its way along an approval route. And we inserted a bot in the middle to ensure that the data is accurate, that there's no errors in the data. And this has saved about 85% of the time it takes to process a quote for a new customer. So a huge benefit there. And we've grown that bot in the months since to provide other documentation and really support the entire sales cycle for those divisions reps and not just the one piece of it. Last June, we had no idea what we were doing. So we went out to build a team, as I'm sure a lot of you are doing or continue to do. And we went with contractors that we brought on board, and we brought them in-house. And so a few pieces of advice that we really learned along the way, especially if you're new in this area. Experience is really important. You want to make sure not only that they have experience with RPA, but that they have experience with Automation Anywhere. So I'd like to jump over in the midst here. These are a couple of our key stakeholders. And Andrew here, he is the manager of the team that does the gross margin calculators. And he has been one of our top supporters since day one. We've made multiple bots for him, continue to grow the bots he has. I would say he has a bot first mentality, probably even more so than myself. And he gets super excited about it. And a slide like this has meant so much in our organization, because if you're like me, you're out there and you're evangelizing your tools, and people just kind of say, yep, I know, Brad, you're always telling me what great stuff you can do for me, but they don't hear it from Andrew, or they don't hear it from Tom here. Tom works in our supply chain team, and he had to do this process of going through every work order for every product that we make, take a look at what the actual cost of goods was and what the budgeted amount was. And if there was a great variance, he has to look into it. The problem is he has to look into it even when there's no variance or a 25-cent variance. Well, that's not a really good use of his time. So we made a bot that goes through and does all that work for him. He loved his bot so much that he went and evangelized, without us even knowing, to all his counterparts in other divisions and told them how they have to call me and they have to get this same bot. So that brings us to what's next. I think COVID-19 again has really changed some of this landscape, and we have to really consider new use cases for RPA in the midst of that. Business continuity, I think has historically been something that we look at and we plan for and we think about, but has never really been a reality, hopefully, for most companies. But now we're seeing what the reality of business continuity looks like, at least in some shapes and forms. And, when you can't go into the office to do X, Y, and Z, is that an opportunity for RPA? Is it an opportunity for RPA all the time, or just in a, hopefully not another pandemic, but who knows what could happen? We were looking at those opportunities. I think that's really top of mind for everybody right now, is how can this help us maintain a consistency across the business?